Representative Mike Defensor of Anak Kalusugan Party List to interpolate.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. To all our colleagues, magandang umaga po, and to our resource persons. Mr. Chair, susundan ko na muna ho yung katanungan ninyo para lang humalinaw. Andito po si, wala po si Ma'am Makalingkag of the DBP. If I may ask her.
Hello,
Ayan.
who are you asking?
Si Ma'am po, DBP President Makalingkag.
Yes, President Makalintag.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Chair, if I may proceed. Ma'am, tatanungin ko na lang po kayo kasi susundan ko lang po muna yung tanong ni Mr. Chair. Doon na muna sa topic ng Maynilad 1 billion loan. Ma'am, nare-recall nyo po, binigyan nyo po ng loan ang Maynilad dahil po sa, doon sa presentation nila, meron po silang mga 350 million loan from all other, from different, sa iba-iba pong mga financial institutions. Nagkaroon po kayo ng bridge facility na 1 billion. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Now, Mr. Chair, ma'am, ito pong bridge loan na to ay wala pong collateral. Kung di po yung guarantee ng board members ng BENPRES na sinasabi nila yung joint solidary signature ang naging guarantee po. Tama po ba?
Well, this was many years ago, more than 20 years ago. Nakalimutan ko na siya. Maybe I can check.
It's okay, ma'am. Pero in the normal course of business, binibigay naman po yung ganito na 1 billion na walang collateral for the particular bridge financing na kailangan po ng at the time nung pong Maynilad.
Normally, ang collateral niyan mga facilities, pagka ganyan, normally, I don't recall kung anong collateral niyan. But, usually, these are collateralized facilities.
Yes, ma'am. For the record po, minutes number 9, yung pong binabanggit ni Chairman, April 26, 2000, binigyan niyo po ng special one-shot transaction of a 1 billion facility. Ito pong itong Maynilad Water Services. And basically, ang naging guarantee po niya was the joint solidary signature. Just to set the record straight, yan po yung nangyari. Minutes number 9, April 26, 2000. So, anyway. So, ma'am, you recall, meron po tayong 1 billion na binigay.
I think so, yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Chair, ngayon po, ang based on I see Chairman Nanyagas, nandito rin po kasama natin. If I may go back now to, Mr. Chair, alam nyo si Chairman Nanyagas when I was in housing would guide me on the different aspects of housing at the early stage. Siya po yung tumutulong sa akin noon. At marami po tayo, Mr. Nanyagas, na pinag-uusapan noon dun sa non-performing loans ng housing portfolio, including Pag-ibig, NHMFC at NHA, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Nanyagas, ang tanong lang po namin kasi, ito pong kanina binanggit, nagkaroon po ng waiver on penalty fees by December 2004. Tama po ba, Mr. Chairman?
Hello, Congressman Mike. Sabi ko kay Chair kanina, hindi ko maalala exactly, pero pinadala na ngayon dito yung kinote sa'yo. Ang gusto kong malaman yung supporting documents kasi po meron po kaming paraan, palaging procedure sa DBP na kung merong gagawin ang dedesisyonan ng board ay merong rekomendasyon mula sa management na professional. No?
Tama po.
At yun ang gusto kong makita kung ano talaga ang tinutukoy na waiver. Kasi kung meron...
Chairman Nanyagas, the supporting documents was emailed on another email, subsequent email. Maybe you can open it.
Hindi ko pa ho nakikita.
At
Anyway.
At any rate, Chairman Nanyagas, ito po kasing... you were the chairman tama po, no? Meron nung ibang presidente Sila po yung gumagawa sa study, yung credit committee, then they recommend to board. Tama po.
Opo.
Anyway, Mr. Chairman, alam nyo, Chairman Nanyagas, hindi po lalabas to kung hindi po, kumbaga nakuha ho natin to ng patago eh. Hindi po galing to sa DBP.
Ay,
So,
okay.
yes, that's why Chairman Nanyagas, maaari pong yung mga supporting documents, I hope, ibigay na po ng DBP tungkol dito. But at any rate, ito po, Chairman Nanyagas, ang nagulat po kasi kami, yung tinanggal po yung guarantee ng Benpres. Kasi yun lang po yung pinanghahawakan natin on the 1 billion loan. The joint solidarity signature. Tapos tinanggal po siya sometime in 2004.
Hindi ba po kasama yon dun sa restructuring ng loan by the yung kaninang nabanggit nga ni attorney sa Benpres?
Yes. Could be.
Kasi maaari po, no, I'm not exactly sure, pero kung napag-usapan po sa rehabilitation court na ganun ang mangyayari, normally po sumasang-ayon kami kasi yun po ang most expedient way to solve the problem.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, Chairman Nanyaga, salamat po doon. Pero basically, could have happened na natanggal po yung guarantee dito sa project na to.
Alam niyo, Congressman Mike, you might want to look at the financial books of DBP if you want to confirm na merong na waive. Kasi po, lalabas po sa libro kung winave yung dapat ng kitain.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Unfortunately po, Chairman Nanyagas, Mr. Chairman, ang lumabas po kasi dito sa SPV law, yung mga nalugi, kasi ayaw nila sabing condonation, ayaw nila sabing write-off.
Opo.
Parang charge to operations po naging treatment eh. But basically, yun nga ho, lumalabas. Ang tanong ko lang, Chairman, ito po mga loans happened before 2000. So kayo po yung inabot ng mga failure ng hindi pagbayad.
Gawa po nung crisis.
Opo. Mr. Chairman, ang tanong ko lang ho, bakit po hindi nagkaroon ng foreclosure dito sa mga loans na to? 4 po yan. Bayantel, Benpres, yung pong Maynilad, at saka po yung Sky Cable.
Ang pagkaintindi ko po, kailangan ho suriin mabuti kung a foreclosure will make better sense than a restructuring and rehabilitation. Yun po doon po nagbabase kung saan pupunta. Kaya hindi ho automatic na pag hindi nagbayad, foreclose kaagad. Kasi baka ho yung hawak nating assets na naka-mortgage ay kulang din na po sa loan principal. So kailangan may konting judgment po doon.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, marami pong loans dito, almost 7 to 10 years po, hindi nabayaran na Mr. Chairman. So ang nangyari po, talagang restructuring po talaga. Chairman Nanyagas ang naging direksyon ng DBP tungkol sa mga loans na to.
Meron pa pong isang konsiderasyon na hindi natin napag-usapan, yung pag nag-foreclose po, hihinto po yung performance ng duty ng korporasyon. Ano po? Kung may nilad man yan, baka huminto ang daloy ng tubig, et cetera po. Kasama po yun sa pag-consider kung anong gagawin ng bangko.
Mr. Chairman, isang last question lang po kay Chairman Nanyagas. Chairman, hindi po ba sa DBP, in housing, I know you were exposed doon po sa mga loans na existing non-performing loans, lahat po yan. Alam po natin na hindi tayo pwedeng magbenta basta-basta dahil po sa gobyerno, may book value po at govern po tayo ng ganitong batas.
Correct.
Oho.
Kaya po kaya either ang mismong bangko ang magre-rehab or in this particular case, na aprubahan po ng Kongreso at Senado yung SPAV law, which allowed DBP to move in that direction.
But prior to that, you could not move because there were governing laws. At
Opo.
delikado po tayo.
May mga bawal po, kaya hindi namin ginagawa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, salamat po, Chairman Naniagas. May I now proceed to Ms. Cube of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas.
Ms. Cube.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Good morning po, Congressman Mike. And
Yes, Ms. Cube. Good morning po. Ms. Cube, doon po sa accreditation process nyo, ano po yung qualification for a loan to be accredited para po dyan sa SPV?
Okay. Mr. Chair, the BSP at that time issued memorandum dated May 11, 2006 to all banks and non-bank financial institutions performing quasi-banking functions para po ilahad doon ang mga procedures, paano po makakapag-avail ng certificate of eligibility. So on the question of Congressman Mike, sorry po if I heard it right, paano po masasabi kung non-performing ang isang loan?
Ma'am, Ms. Cube, ano po ma'am? What will qualify? Ano po yung qualification para kayong maging accredited? I mean, tama ba? Accreditation ng ating loans? Yes.
Yes po, para po maging eligible ang SPL sa isang certificate of eligibility po to be issued by the BSP. Sir, sinasaad po doon sa memorandum na kailangan mag-submit po yung applicant institution or bank ng master list. Tapos po, dapat po nakasaad doon na non-performing loan na siya. Paano po masasabing non-performing loan? Sinasabi din po doon sa SPV Act na dapat po ay 100
80 days.
If I may, dapat po ay if I may just refer to the law, it has been past due for 180 days, and humihingi rin po kami ng certification from an authorized senior officer of the bank to certify that the assets to be sold are non-performing assets as defined by the SPV Act. Tapos po ang proposed sale or transfer of those NPAs are true sale. Then the notification requirements to the borrowers have been complied with. At yung pang-apat po at huli, maximum of 90-day period for negotiation and restructuring being complied with, sir.
So, ano po yung maaaring maging batayan para hindi ka maging eligible?
Kapag po hindi nag-conform dun po sa apat na sinabi ko, halimbawa po hindi po ito true sale or the asset that was sold or transferred are not NPAs as defined by the SPV Act, sir.
Oh, so ibig sabihin po, yung Benpres at saka po yung Maynilad, ay sinasabi po batay doon sa inyong mga guidelines, hindi po siya non-performing asset pa at that time.
Sir, I can only speak of the fact that what BSP has issued was a COE for Bayantel and CATV, sir.
Okay. CATV. Bayantel at saka po yung Sky Cable po to, yung CATV.
Yung CATV po, sir, Philippine Home Cable na po pala siya as represented by DBP.
Tama po ba, Ms. Cube, na nakabatay po kayo sa ganyan, meron kayong regulasyon para dun sa eligibility? Kasi maaaring ang isang bangko, kahit na performing pa lang ang loan niya o maganda yung performance, ilalagay niya sa SPV para maka-discount o kung may kuntsabaan na nangyari.
Sir, in any implementing rules and regulations po ng batas, we ensure that there are safeguards of safety nets in order to avoid abuse, sir. So you are correct po. There are safety nets that was devised po.
So, klaro-klaro, Mr. Chair, no? Salamat, Ms. Cube. Binabanggit ni Chairman Naniagas, hindi namin pwedeng magbenta na that time kasi wala namang batas and govern tayo ng law. And then number 2, sinasabi nga ni Ms. Cube, yung criteria ng eligibility na hindi pumasok yung Bayantel at saka Maynilad. Pero itinuloy pa rin ang pagbenta. Now, I'll go to the legal of DBP. Attorney Adjong, and of course, Mr. Aguilar can also answer. Bago po magkaroon ng batas tungkol dito sa SPV, ano pong gumagabay sa atin sa pagbenta ng mga collaterals at non-performing assets?
Mr. Chair, I'm not aware of the policy in existence then, but as a matter of practice, DBP does not transfer NPAs because we are guided by a policy on handling bad accounts.
Mr. Chair, medyo conflict ata po yung binabanggit ng DBP. Sinasabi nila, we will not dispose of assets because we can handle bad accounts. And yet, ito pong asset ng Maynilad, asset ng Benpres, which technically are not so bad accounts, kahit nga ho ang BSP hindi binigyan ng eligibility to dahil batay doon sa criteria niya, hindi pasok, binenta naman natin under the special purpose vehicle. So again, I'd like to ask, outside of the SPV, ano po ang nag-govern na batas sa atin tungkol sa disposition of assets?
Sir, as a matter of law, DBP may rely on the provision of the Civil Code for the transfer or assignment of credits or other rights. In this case, Mr. Chair, as explained to this honorable committee, the bank lumped accounts that were eligible and non-eligible in the transfer to the SPV.
Sige po, papasukan ko po yung argumento nyo. Huwag natin gamitin yung SPV. Sabi nyo, pwede nyo i-assign yung assets based on the civil code. Paano po yung appraisal ng mga value?
May we just confer with the Mr. Aguilar, Mr. Chair, on this matter?
Mr. Chair, yung tinatanong niyo pa kung anong appraisal value ng properties under mortgage?
Hindi, kasi ang unang tanong ko, outside of SPAV, pag wala, kunyari, nung wala pa yung SPV, anong ginagamit niyong batayan to dispose assets? Ang sabi ni Atty. Adjong, hindi nyo dinedispose yung assets nyo kasi meron kayong operation to handle non-performing assets. Sa inyo nang galing yan. Ngayon, sabi ko, kung ganun pala, bakit nyo dinispose? Tapos ang next na sagot was civil code, assignment of credit. Ang tanong ko, sige, inassign ninyo. Huwag nyo gamitin yung SPV. Ano yung valuation na ginagamit nyo?
Yun na nga po yung reason why we engage Ernst & Young to do the valuation of the portfolio.
Mr. Aguilar, atras po tayo kasi ulitin ko kung walang SPV bago nagkaroon ng special purpose vehicle, ano ang batayan ninyo para magbenta ng assets?
Yung binasa po kanina ni Attorney Sor, yung reason why nagbenta ng DBP ng mga NPAs. Yun po yung batayan bakit po nagbenta ng mga NPAs. At yun rin po yung batayan bakit po nag-engage ang DBP ng financial advisor.
Mr. Chairman, gusto ko lang paulit sa kanila yung sinabi nila about the NPAs. Ano yung standard natin to sell NPAs? What's the standard followed by DBP? Para maulit lang for Congressman Defensor's guidance.
May we be allowed to get the policy on the transfer of NPAs, Mr. Chair?
Sige, okay na sa'yo, Congressman Defensor?
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you, Honorable Remulla. Kasi po, well, Mr. Chair, I just want to quickly reply to that. Lahat naman po ng government financial institutions, isa lang po ang nag-govern na batas. And I'm surprised na yung legal ng DBP hindi alam. Are you aware, Attorney Adjong, Mr. Chairman, na merong case tayo sa Supreme Court ng Purificación Urbano Arrienda versus GSIS? Alam niyo po ba to? Nagdesisyon ng 2001.
We have to check the case, Mr. Chair. Ano po yun? Amienda versus GSIS?
Urbano Arrienda de Castro. Now, the reason na ni-raise ko po tong case na to, kasi ito pong taong to, nag-loan sa GSIS. Nung pong pinorclose po siya, gusto niyang i-buyback, hindi siya pinayagan, nagkaroon ng base price ang GSIS. Nagkaroon ng negotiation, eventually, na-ibenta ng GSIS sa ibang tao. Umabot po ito ng Supreme Court. And dito ho, nakalagay dito, ano yung governing laws ng ating government financial institutions. Yung pong ating COA circular, meron po tayo niyan. Tama po ba, Attorney Jong?
Yes, sir. Sir, clarify ko lang po, if this case pertains to AROPA po, to an acquired asset of GSIS.
Yes, Attorney Jong, it is. So ano, Attorney Jong, ang governing circular natin sa COA on the sale of assets? Okay, I will further refresh your mind. Kailan lang po nagsalita si Secretary Dominguez? 2019. Ang sabi po niya na sana itong PMO, yung Private Management Office, pwede na siya magbenta ng assets dahil daw ho yung COA Circular 89296 ay masyadong napakahirap sundan. Secretary Dominguez talking about this in 2019.
Mr. Chair, if I recall it right, COA Circular 89296, if I'm correct, Mr. Chair, specifically excludes sale of ROPAs, Mr. Chair.
Yes, but in the according, and I will quote Secretary Dominguez, according to the Finance Chief, COA Circular 89296 requiring the sale of unproductive state assets and their appraised values has hampered rather than facilitated efforts by the government to dispose of these idle properties. Okay. Tapos meron po ba tayong DBM, Disposal of Government Property Manual?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So yan po yung nag-govern din sa DBM, sa atin, sa Development Bank of the Philippines.
Again, Mr. Chair, we have policies on disposal of ROPAs. Asan nakalagay?
Nakabatay po saan na batas ang mga disposal nyo?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, under COA Circular 89296, as mentioned, excludes disposal by GFIs of foreclosed assets or collaterals acquired in the regular course of business.
So COA Circular lang po ang governing law, ang governing ano ninyo?
Again, Mr. Chair, we have a policy in the bank on that the bank observes on the disposal of ROPAs.
Okay, pero tama po ba na sinusundan niyo yung policy ng national government na dapat po yung book value ang sundan?
The policy of the bank, Mr. Chair, is in accordance with existing laws and regulations.
Simple naman ang tanong ko, Attorney Adjong eh. Tama po ba na ang policy ninyo at policy dapat ng lahat? Nakikita ko po ang Land Bank, kasama rin natin dito. At saka yung mga ibang government offices na dapat nakabata ito doon sa appreciation na yung book value o yung total value ay hindi dapat mas mababa.
As a matter of policy on the part of the bank, Mr. Chair, bank policies are adopted in accordance with existing laws and regulations.
So anong ibig mo sabihin na, Attorney Adjong, exempted kayo dahil DBP kayo? Hindi kayo susunod sa gobyerno?
Hindi po.
So ano kayong policy?
Ang sinasabi ko po, Mr. Chair, is that the policy of the bank was adopted in accordance with existing laws and regulations po, Mr. Chair.
Ngayon, ang tanong ko, yung existing laws and regulations, hindi dapat kayo bumaba sa book value kung walang SPV. Tama po ba?
We would have to check, Mr. Chair.
Ang bilis mo sumagot, Mr. Chair. Ang bilis mo sumagot doon sa policy. Pag tinanong ko yung policy, hindi mo naman pa alam. So what is the policy? Di ba? It should not go below the book value.
I've requested, Mr. Chair, that we be given time to produce the... Actually, we're communicating with our head office now for the submission of the bank policy on disposal of assets.
Mr. Chair, we don't need that. We know that. Alam na po namin to. Pagka walang SPAV, kahit na po Secretary of Finance nagsalita, Chairman Nanyagas nandyan nagsalita na rin ang BSP, na itong mga values ninyo, book value, kailangan nyo sundan. Now, under the SPV, wala akong problema kung lower kayo. Pero kailangan mayroon kayong eligibility, which sinabi nga ni Ms. Cube, batay doon sa guidelines, hindi nyo sinundan. So anyway, hindi na namin kailangan yung policy na yan kasi klaro naman yan eh. Land Bank, is Land Bank here? Para lang klaro. Tingnan, may I ask Mr. Sacro of the Land Bank of the Philippines?
Yes. Mr. Chair, good morning po.
Yes, good morning. Mr. Sacro, pasensya na po kayo at nahila kayo dito sa usaping to.
Good morning.
Yes. Mabilis na tanong lang po.
Good morning po.
Good morning.
Opo.
Mr. Sacro, tama po ba na may governing guidelines po tayo na pagka may assets tayo, hindi po tayo pwede magbenta ng mas mababa sa book value?
Ang ano po namin, ang policy po namin is we based it on our charter na kailangan po idadaan po muna sa public bidding, yun pong property. Pagka sinasabi po kasi natin na non-performing asset yan, dalawa pong klaseng asset yan. It's either non-performing loan or ROPA na tinatawag. So yung sinasabi ko po about the ROPA, yung disposition of assets. So una, public bidding. Pagka nag-fail po yung public bidding, ay tumatanggap na po kami ng negotiated sale na tinatawag. So pinapublish po namin yan. Ngayon, dinedetermine po namin yung valuation po ng ROPA based on the appraised value of that property. Yun po yung baseline po namin in setting the minimum bid price of that property. Yun po yung ginagawa po namin.
Thank you, Mr. Sacro. Just to qualify lang ko, no, it's either the appraised value or the book value, whichever is higher. Tama po ba?
Sa appraised value po kami nagtitingin ng minimum bid price po namin. Opo, appraised value. Iba po kasi yung book value.
Okay po. Pero more than usual,
usually mas mataas po. Mas mataas po yung appraised value pag sa ROPA.
Opo. Salamat po. Doon po sa
times kasi na talaga syempre nag-depreciate po yung property. So may mga impairment losses po na tinatawag. So yun, nababawas po sa book value ng property. Lalo na kung may mga improvements. So for example, yung property, may depreciation din po yan. So bababa po yung appraisal nun.
Opo. Thank you po, Mr. Sacro. Ngayon po doon sa non-performing loans naman po, paano po yung treatment nyo doon?
Wala po kasi akong experience sa pagbenta ng non-performing loans. Opo. Kaya wala po akong maiaano dyan. Kasi I think, syempre, ang valuation din siguro, baseline din, maybe on the, how much is the outstanding obligation. And
Kasi
really on the possibility, collectivity of that loan, yun po.
Mr. Chairman, tama po ba Mr. Sacro? Kasi lahat naman po ng loans ninyo may collateral. Na at any given time, pwede nyo balikan at pwede nyo, yun po yung inyong i-foreclose. Tama po ba?
Hindi po lahat ng loans may collateral kasi hindi lang naman po yun yung kino-consider ng bangko. So may mga loans din po na clean loan na tinatawag. So we pursue collection based on the loan agreement. Yun po yung ano. Yung
but
mga remedyo po depende po.
Yes. So, meaning kahit na ho paano, kahit clean loan siya, may sort of guarantee or protection ng bangko bago mag-release ng loan.
Well, may mga may mga credit enhancers na tinatawag ng bangko. Like yung mga JSS, mga issuance ng mga post-dated checks, mga ganun.
Yes. Thank you. So, Mr. Chair, maraming salamat Mr. Sacro LBP sa Land Bank of the Philippines. Maraming salamat po. Mr. Chair, so klaro-klaro po naman na batay dito sa mga pinag-uusapan po natin and based on the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, talaga po may governing rule pag wala po yung special purpose vehicle. At dito nakita naman natin na bagamat walang eligibility, ipinasok pa rin yung sinasabi nating mga loans na to. Ngayon, as a quick manifestation, Mr. Chair, gusto ko lang pong iliwanag and DBP may reply. Nakakatakot po yung sitwasyon nito kasi meron kunyari po, itong sinasabi nating loan na nakaraan, magaganda ho yung loan pero ibinenta pa rin po natin. Ano po yung maghihinto sa mga bangko ngayon, government financial institutions, wag na ho natin bayaan yung private, na yung mga magagandang loan nila, ilalagay nila ulit under a special purpose vehicle na inaprubahan po natin, na kung saan pwede magkaroon ng kontsabaan at mabibili nila muli yung kanilang loan ng mas mababa, ng discounted. Sinasabi kanina ng DBP, hindi ho namin binibenta yung mga loans namin dahil kaya namin i-handle. Pero lumalabas, in this particular case, yung 4 na loans, ipinasok po nila, bagamat yung 2 hindi pinayagan, walang certificate of eligibility. Ano ang nagtulak sa DBP para gawin yon? At klaro sa akin, Mr. Chairman, na illegal yung ginawa ng Development Bank of the Philippines. Nagsalita na po Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, nagsalita po ang Land Bank of the Philippines tungkol dito na talagang kailangan malinaw ang ang batas na pumapaloob bago tayo magkaroon ng pagbibenta ng asset. For example, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
tanong ko lang kay Congressman Defensor. You're referring to what companies, what loans that were processed by DBP under the SPAV which did not have any certificate of eligibility?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ilad yun
Yung Maynilad po, Mr. Chairman, at saka yung Benpress Holdings, Mr. Chairman.
Bakit ba lang, how did we arrive at the conclusion that they had no certificate of eligibility?
As stated by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Mr. Chair, ang Bangko Sentral na po nagsabi, at mismo ang DBP nagsabi, na wala pong eligibility ang Maynilad at ang Benpress Holdings. Pero
they were still given the discount of SPAV in spite of the fact that they had no certificate of eligibility. Is that the point, Congressman Defensor?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Nagkaroon po ng diskwento na ibenta po nila kahit hindi pinayagan.
So malinaw po yun. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Defensor. Any further question? You have established the violation?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. My last point, Mr. Chairman, sa DBP, and I think concern po dapat ng committee to, paano po ngayon kung may mga loans dyan existing tayo sa DBP, assuming, kunyari, 10 billion of good loans, magagandang loans, pwede po lang ibenta sa SPV at wala pong makakahinto sa kanila. Batay doon sa kanilang reasoning na kahit na hindi aprubahan ng eligibility ng Bangko Sentral ay pwede sila magbenta. At yan po yung nakakatakot, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
Di ba merong ano,
Vice
kasi
Chairman.
meron tayong bagong batas ngayon, di ba? Na pinasa.
Fees.
The FIST law, di ba? Meron pa rin yatang guidelines yan na kinakailangan pa rin non-performing siya for at least 180 days. Pero would this not result to a company not paying its loans for 6 months to qualify for it? Posible ba yan, Attorney Adjong, under the FIST law?
Actually, sir, if I may highlight a provision in the FIST law, section 12, letter B, there's a proviso that says nothing in this act shall be construed to prevent the transfer of NPAs under other applicable laws. So anyway, Mr. Chair, in our comment to the SEC on the IRR, on the draft IRR, we suggested that this be clarified so that if banks are not allowed to lump or commingle non-eligible accounts or NPAs to the eligible NPAs, it should be clarified to guide banks and other entities that may avail of the provisions of the
So are you admitting, Attorney Adjong, that there's a mistake on the part of DBP to lump the 4 loans together in spite of the fact that 2 of them did not qualify as because they had no COE?
No, Mr. Chair. Actually, we want a clear provision in the IRR on how this proviso in the law should be implemented, which says nothing in this act, meaning the FIST, shall be construed to prevent the transfer of NPAs under other applicable laws.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Congressman Defensor.
ang problema kasi ni Mr. Chair ng DBP, ang tingin niya sa sarili niya private. Hindi niya naiisip na gobyerno siya, as earlier stated by Congressman Rimulya. Kasi ang private, pwede. Kahit na ba 100% niya na performing kung gusto niyang ibenta under SPV to enhance the other accounts, walang problema. Pero pag tayo, yung pinaloan mo, Maynilad, 1 bilyon, nagbabayad naman, maganda naman ang performance, bigla mong ibinenta ng 700 million, hindi maganda yun. Pagka yung account kunyari, and I will not talk about the Lopez loan, but I'm talking of the future, may nagbabayad 80%, bigla mong inilagay, diniscount mo na naman. Meron ho tayong graft and corruption doon. Kaya wag gong isipin ng DBP na siya ay pribado. Public financial institution po siya. At govern siya ng mga batas.
Congressman Defensor, do you have any more questions?
Wala na po, Mr. Chairman. Gusto ko lang po klaro for the record na yan po yung mga violation ng DBP on this particular issue. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman.
Noted.